Alright, I cannot control Todai's or my children. I cannot control people and what they choose to do with their lives. And I see that because of that, it makes it very difficult to like gather up some type of consistency and an expression within a martial arts school. But you see, when it comes to corporations, they exercise control. You know, most people work for somebody else, and when you work for somebody else, you have to listen to what they want. And a lot of times people say, oh, you know, customers are always right, so you gotta listen to the customers in order to generate profit. So when it comes to corporations, they are designed to like control you, so then you follow orders of what they want so you could help them make money. When you go work for somebody, they tell you you gotta wear you can't wear these clothes to work. You can only wear these. They tell you, you know, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Your lunch break is only 30 minutes. You can't just go surfing around on the internet. You gotta get to work. They control you and they tell you what to do. Now, when it comes to martial arts, that limits a person's ability to be creative and artistic. And that's why it's hard to amass like a group representation of martial arts, because usually there's going to be some sort of conflict. And that's what I see. You know, I mean, even people that I get along with in the martial arts that practice martial arts as well, we don't necessarily have the same ideas on everything. Sometimes we have conflicting viewpoints. You know, and I think that's what makes it difficult to pass on a name, you know, to the next generation. So meaning, when you create something of your own, it goes according to your ideas. So when you create your own school, you set your own standards. But if you want somebody to work with you, they have to basically adapt to your standards. If they want to set their own standards, then they may have to develop their own school. And then you guys end up working separate. But to work together, there has to be like somebody that's in charge. And when it comes to the martial arts, a lot of times it's hard to get people together that share the same vision. So it's a difficult thing, you know, that I see. And you know, when I train people, train Todais or disciples, or if I train my children, it's not necessarily that they are going to be growing to agree with my ideas. You know, it's not a guarantee that my children are going to stay away from alcohol and drugs. You know, it's not a guarantee that my children are going to stay out of jail and not go to jail. It's not a guarantee that my children are not going to make unhealthy decisions in their lives. So just because they are my children doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to follow the way. And in order for true martial arts to pass on the right way, free from corruption, the people that are practicing it and representing it, they need to follow the way. And that's something that's not a guarantee. It is not a guarantee. So I see the difficulties in it. I really do. But as I stated, as how the corporations become successful and how they live on, it can be done. But people got to realize that corporations are paying their employees, paying them money to believe or do what they want them to do. The money is what the employees are after. But in martial arts, that's not supposed to be the case. Like, you don't pay people to follow the way. They follow it on their own accord. And it's much more difficult to gather up people that share a similar vision within the martial arts and are willing to express that vision under one name. Because a lot of times people want to create their own way, create their own name. And then what ends up happening is martial artists end up working separate rather than together. And that's what I see. I see that happens quite often, is people working separate rather than together. And working separate and not together ends up making them weaker. The impact is not as strong because everybody is working independently. But if a martial artist is able to gather other martial artists together to work together towards a common goal, then there could be a much greater impact. But as I stated, it's not an easy thing to do. Because somebody needs to be in charge, and not everybody, especially when it comes to the martial arts, not everybody's willing to accept somebody as an authority over themselves. Because in the martial arts, it's common for there to be people that have a very highly developed ego that prevents them from submitting to authority.